Welcome to Gainesville, everyone, with Greg Bowser. I'm Lynn Rollins. You know, Greg, 51 tonight by Florida. That's the most points scored on LSU in a regulation game since Florida had 56 12 years ago on this same field. And coming off a bye week, LSU didn't do a lot very well in many phases of the game.
Well, you know, LSU came into the ball game rated number 3 team in the country in some polls, and you really thought they'd play much better than they played, but it didn't happen. They were on the road. They just didn't seem to get any rhythm, and when you do that against a good football team, this is what happens to you.
The last time LSU was here, there were 6 turnovers. Tonight there were 3, and they were critical.
There were critical turnovers. Just when it looked like they had something going, they turned the football over. And this was the first one. You get the interception, and then they had a drive going. They fumbled the football. Florida gets it back. And then here's the killer when you throw the interception and they're able to return it for a touchdown. And the Tigers, I think, never recovered from that interception return for a touchdown. And they lost everything, and that's when Florida took control of the football game.
Well, some strange numbers tonight. Florida rushes for well over 250 yards. LSU had about a quarter of that. I would have never thought that scenario would have played out.
Well, you had the number 1 rushing team in the conference in LSU come in here, and Florida had trouble against the run, teams that ran the football. You look at Ole Miss early in the year, they were successful running the ball against Florida. You figured LSU would do the same, but the Gators had a great game plan. They stopped them from running the ball and forced the quarterbacks to try to make plays down the field, and Jarrett Lee and Hatch couldn't do that, and LSU had trouble offensively. And the defense could not stop this Florida Gator offense.
There are still many opportunities for LSU to win the SEC and move on and play in a BCS championship type scenario. But LSU at South Carolina next week really needs to play better, really needs to come away with a victory.
They have to come away with a victory. They've got to focus. And I think what you do is you go back and you watch the film and you put it behind you, and you have to understand that forget about the score. It still goes down as only 1 loss in conference play. So you get to play everybody else. They've got to come out, start next week, and really play. I think they can't turn the football over next week against South Carolina on the road, or you may get a repeat of what we saw tonight.
Gentlemen, that's the story from Gainesville, and it was not a happy one. Florida comes away with a big victory. Let's go back to you in the studio.